The ancient Ram Inn, England's most haunted inn. Deep in the English countryside, nestled in the small, picturesque village of Watton-under-Edge, Gloucestershire, stands a building that has terrified locals and visitors alike for centuries. This is the ancient Ram Inn, a 12th century structure steeped in dark history and known as one of the most haunted places in England. With its crumbling walls, crooked beams, and ominous atmosphere, the ancient Ram Inn looks every bit the part of a haunted house, but what lies within its ancient stone walls is far more terrifying than its outward appearance suggests. Tales of ghostly apparitions, poltergeist activity, and dark rituals have surrounded the inn for hundreds of years, and many believe that the land on which it stands is cursed. Built in 1145, the ancient Ram Inn was originally used to house the masons and workers who were constructing the nearby St. Mary's Church. Later, it served as a parish priest's home before being converted into an inn. Over the centuries, the inn has been home to many families, travelers, and even criminals, but it is what lies beneath the surface that has led to its infamous reputation. The inn was built on the intersection of two ancient ley lines, invisible lines that some believe channel spiritual energy. These ley lines are said to lead directly to Stonehenge, one of the most powerful mystical sites in the world. It is believed that these ley lines have created a conduit for supernatural activity, making the inn a magnet for ghosts and dark entities. Adding to the inn's sinister atmosphere is the fact that it was built atop an ancient pagan burial ground. During renovations, the remains of children, along with broken and ritualistically arranged items, were discovered buried beneath the inn, leading many to believe that the site was once used for dark, sacrificial rituals. Some even speculate that these children were victims of pagan sacrifices, and it is their restless spirits that continue to haunt the inn today. From the moment it was constructed, the ancient Ram Inn has been plagued by eerie happenings, strange noises, and ghostly sightings, and its haunted reputation has only grown stronger with time. The current owner of the inn, John Humphreys, purchased the property in 1968, unaware of its dark history. Almost immediately after moving in, he began to experience terrifying paranormal activity that would haunt him for the rest of his life. One of his first nights in the inn, Humphreys claims he was violently yanked out of bed by an unseen force and dragged across the room. This was only the beginning of the bizarre and terrifying events that would occur in the house. Humphreys soon realized that he was not alone. Spirits from the inn's troubled past seemed determined to make their presence known. One of the most famous spirits said to haunt the ancient Ram Inn is known as the witch. During the 1500s, when England was in the throes of witch hunts, many women accused of witchcraft were tortured and burned at the stake. One such woman is believed to have taken refuge in the ancient Ram Inn, hiding in one of the rooms to escape her captors. She was eventually found, dragged from the inn, and executed for witchcraft. Her spirit, however, is said to have never left. The witch's room, where she is believed to have hidden, remains one of the most active paranormal hotspots in the inn. Visitors to the room often report feeling an overwhelming sense of dread, as if they are being watched by an unseen presence. Some have seen the apparition of a woman dressed in old-fashioned clothing, her face twisted in agony, appearing at the foot of the bed. Others have reported objects moving on their own, cold spots, and even the sensation of being touched by invisible hands. Another infamous entity said to haunt the inn is known as the succubus, a dark and malevolent spirit that is believed to have tormented John Humphreys during his early years in the inn. A succubus is a demonic entity that seduces and attacks its victims in their sleep, draining their energy and sometimes even their life force. Humphreys reported several encounters with this entity, waking in the middle of the night to find a shadowy figure looming over his bed or feeling a heavy weight pressing down on his chest, making it impossible for him to breathe. The presence of the succubus has been felt by other visitors as well, with some reporting terrifying sleep paralysis experiences while staying at the inn. The bishop's room is another area of the ancient Ram Inn that has garnered a reputation for being one of the most haunted places in the building. Formerly used by visiting clergymen, this room is now infamous for the intense paranormal activity that occurs within its walls. Visitors to the bishop's room have reported seeing dark, shadowy figures, including that of a monk standing in the corner of the room, watching them silently. Some have seen ghostly apparitions of priests, dressed in robes, wandering the halls or kneeling in prayer. Others have felt the air grow suddenly cold, with the temperature dropping dramatically without explanation. The feeling of being watched is ever present, and many visitors refuse to spend more than a few minutes inside the room before fleeing in terror. One of the most terrifying spirits believed to haunt the bishop's room is that of a centurion, a Roman soldier who has been seen standing guard near the door. Some witnesses have described hearing the sound of heavy footsteps, followed by the apparition of the centurion marching through the room as if still on duty, unaware that centuries have passed. His ghostly presence is accompanied by the sound of clinking armor and the smell of burning wood, which some believe is connected to the pagan rituals that were once performed on the land. Throughout the inn, there are countless reports of poltergeist activity, objects moving on their own, lights flickering without explanation, and doors slamming shut with such force that the walls shake. One of the most chilling aspects of the paranormal activity at the ancient Ram Inn is the fact that it seems to target both visitors and the owner alike. John Humphreys has often spoken of how the spirits seem to take particular pleasure in tormenting those who dare to enter, with some guests leaving the inn in the middle of the night, unable to bear the overwhelming sense of fear that grips them. In the inn's attic, a particularly dark and disturbing entity is said to reside. Known only as the man in the attic, this ghostly figure has been seen peering out from the small attic window late at night, watching the grounds below. Some visitors have claimed to hear footsteps coming from the attic, followed by the sound of furniture being dragged across the floor. Others have heard whispering voices or felt a cold, malevolent presence as they climb the stairs to investigate the source of the noise. The attic is considered one of the most dangerous parts of the inn, and many paranormal investigators have reported feeling a strong sense of dread and fear when approaching it. Over the years, numerous paranormal investigators, ghost hunters, and curious visitors have come to the ancient Ram Inn, hoping to capture evidence of the supernatural activity that is said to plague the building. Many have left with chilling stories of their own, photos showing strange orbs of light, recordings of ghostly voices, and unexplainable physical sensations like sudden cold chills or the feeling of being pushed by an unseen force. Some investigators have even experienced violent reactions to the spirits, with one woman claiming she was scratched across her back by invisible claws while walking through the inn's dark corridors. The ancient Ram Inn has become a focal point for those fascinated by the paranormal, with its haunted reputation drawing in thrill seekers and ghost enthusiasts from all over the world. Despite the numerous reports of ghostly encounters and terrifying experiences, John Humphreys continued to live in the inn until his passing, maintaining that he had learned to coexist with the spirits that haunted the building. He often spoke of the inn's history with a mixture of pride and fear, acknowledging the dark forces at play but also respecting the power of the supernatural that resided within its walls. Today, the ancient Ram Inn stands as both a historical monument and a place of unrelenting terror. Its crooked walls and sagging beams seem to sag under the weight of centuries of tragedy and death, and the spirits that haunt the inn show no signs of leaving. For those who visit, the ancient Ram Inn offers an experience unlike any other, a chance to step into a place where the boundary between the living and the dead is dangerously thin, and where the past refuses to stay buried. Whether you believe in ghosts or not, there is no denying that the ancient Ram Inn is a place steeped in darkness and mystery. Its long and troubled history, combined with the countless reports of supernatural activity, have cemented its place as one of the most haunted locations in England. The spirits of the past, whether witches, monks, or soldiers, continue to walk its halls, forever trapped in a place where time stands still and the living must share space with the dead. For those brave enough to spend the night, the question is not whether you will encounter a ghost, but rather when.